I'm going to show you exactly how to decide whether you should do FBM or FBA on an Amazon listing. And this decision is important because it can literally make or break your profit margins. And I've seen it from a lot of sellers getting it completely wrong. I've sold FBM and FBA across hundreds of listings throughout my entire 3 years of selling on Amazon, and I know that they both work, but it's important to check the metrics. So I'm going to show you exactly what to look for on every listing before sending it to FBA. All right, so here's my exact thought process when I am deciding whether I should send a product to FBA. So typically I'll look at the product size and the weight. If it's a small and light product, sometimes I will test it as FBM and then I'll send it to FBA, depending if I'm getting sales or depending if the buy box statistics also give the buy box share to FBM sellers. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So basically it's like you pull up Keepa and you check the buy box statistics. So I have this product here, the Speed Stick deodorant. Now, if we were to get this for $2.50 from a supplier and we're selling for $12.55, $25 would be our profit and our ROI would be 90%. Now, if we were to do FBM, it would be around $5 to ship this product because it only weighs about less than 1 pound. So we would still make an extra $1-ish for profits and our ROI will go up, because we're not paying the storage fee, we're not paying any prep, inbound, and we're not getting a placement fee either. So FBM would probably make sense for this, but another thing to consider is going to be the buy box statistics. So if you pull up the data and then you go into the buy box statistics, here you can see who is actually getting the buy box. So as you can see, this one seller, he is FBM because he doesn't have the check mark as FBA. These other sellers here are FBA and they are getting a percentage of the buy box. That means this box here, this buy box here is rotating to FBM and FBA sellers equally. So in this case, if I wanted to test a couple units as FBM, I would throw them up as FBM, see if I get sales. And if I do, I would probably just keep doing FBM. Even though it is a little bit more work, you're still making more money on the back end. Now, if we wanted to send this to FBA and kind of just be a little more hands-off, let Amazon handle all the fulfillments and you're okay with the inbound shipping and the placement fees and all of that stuff, then FBA would make sense here. So this is one of those products that you can test FBM and then send it to FBA if you want to have a faster, streamlined process. So if you see that a lot of sellers are doing FBA, it probably makes sense to do FBA. But if you see the majority of sellers are doing FBM, then it probably makes sense that you should also do FBM as well. So I'm going to pull up this product here, which is actually a hazmat product. I'll get into this a little bit later, but as you can see here, all of these sellers here are doing FBM. So that typically means that you should probably also do FBM as well. Okay. So another cool things that you should also consider is if your profit margin is over 30%, FBA fees will not kill your margins. It depends on your buy cost. But if you're under 20%, then FBM might be a little bit better. Now for FBM though, large and heavy products, for example, this Drano here that I have here, or Drano, or however you say it, this one is a little bit on the heavier side. It's about 6 pounds. Now, if we look at this here, you can see some sellers are doing FBA, Amazon being one of the sellers. This would probably make sense to do FBM because all of the sellers are mostly doing FBM and it's a heavier product. Therefore, inbound shipping and all the fees are probably going to cost a little bit more because it's going to be $4.60 per unit to send to FBA. Now, if you do FBM, you get rid of that fee, you get rid of the placement fee, and even though you're holding more inventory at your house, at your prep center, or at your location, it probably makes sense to do FBM on this case. The shipping probably wouldn't be $5, it'll probably be a little bit more. This product probably wouldn't make sense to even like sell because Amazon is on the listing, but this is just an example. So another thing to consider is that products over $100, I would usually go FBM because the percentage fees add up fast on expensive stuff. Now, if you're selling Christmas decorations and you don't want them sitting at the Amazon warehouse all year long and you're paying storage fees, seasonal items, I typically do FBM, like candy right now that we're in October. I would do FBM because you have a certain deadline to hit before all of your inventory just becomes kind of stranded at the FBA warehouse, because you miss the point where the season kind of ends. So if I was going to be selling candy, I would get in during the candy rush for Halloween and I would liquidate all my inventory. I wouldn't risk sending anything to FBA right now that we're in October 15th to try and hit it for Halloween, because it wouldn't check in on time. So FBM would probably make sense here. Now going back to the hazmat. Hazmat just means dangerous goods. For example, this dust off here, this is considered a dangerous good because it's like a spray. Anything that is like a hairspray or is a dangerous good, like perfumes, colognes, dangerous goods are going to be FBM until Amazon invites you into their dangerous goods program. The best way to get invited into the program is to just start FBMing a lot of these products and then they'll send you an invite. Another way is you can actually apply to be approved into the dangerous goods program. The way that I was invited is I was just selling a lot of perfumes, maybe like 15, 20 orders, and then I already had gotten the invite. So it'll just depend on your account history. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually do both. It's more of like a hybrid approach. So you can test the product as FBM, see if it sells, and then if it does or if it doesn't, then you can switch over to FBA and see if you can get some sales there. Of course, you want to make sure you're looking at the buy box statistics on Keepa to make sure that the buy box is actually rotating to FBM sellers or FBA if you want to go that route. As well as you can also keep some FBM inventory at your house so that way you won't pay the extra storage or inbound shipping. So common mistakes that I see is sellers often think that, oh, I have to send it to FBA. I want to be a little hands off. I want them to do everything. And sometimes that might not be the best idea because it might kill your margins on bigger products. In some cases, you're just better off FBMing to kind of get those test orders in place. So basically the way that I decide whether I'm going to do FBM or FBA is I would calculate the total fees on FBA and FBM costs using my calculator here. So I would calculate like this and kind of see what's the best bet. And then I would consider my time investment. How long is it going to take me to actually sell through these units? If I'm going to take a longer time to sell through them, I would probably just want to keep them in stock at my house or at my warehouse. And that way Amazon doesn't keep charging me over and over for storage fees for something that is selling quite slowly for my liking. Seasonal factors is also a big deal, kind of like how I mentioned with the candy. If you're trying to get in and get out, FBM would be your best bet. But if it's something that you're 100% sure you're getting in early, let's say I was going to sell candy for Halloween, I would already have sent them earlier last month. That way I know for sure that I'll be winning the buy box and able to sell through all of my inventory by the time Halloween hits. Once again, a couple tips is test FBM if you're not sure. For FBM, I'll also use a Repricer. This also works well for FBA. I use SellerSnap as a Repricer. It's an AI Repricer where if you set your minimum at like $12 and $15, the price will fluctuate between $13 and $15, allowing you to win the buy box over other sellers without tanking the price, instead of having to manually change your price every now and then. I do have a link down below if you guys want to give it a free trial. It's a great Repricer. It's probably one of my favorites. Another thing is going to be optimizing your shipping templates to make sure that you're actually showing the delivery time that customers want to see. Because by default, Amazon is going to give you a shipping template that's going to show, like, let's say I list something today for October 15th. Amazon is going to show the customer that their item won't be delivered until October 21st, and nobody wants to wait 7 days to receive their product. So you have to optimize your shipping template in a certain manner. And I'll be dropping another video later this week, so make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll be breaking down exactly how to optimize your shipping template. If you want to also do FBA with the prep center and you want to handle some of the FBM at your house, that's also a good little strategy that I like to do. Is I'll send some inventory to my FBA prep center and have them send that. And then I'll do some FBM for my own, because sometimes prep centers cost like $3 or $4 for FBM prep because it's a little bit more work. So you can also do it like that in a hybrid model. Have them do the FBA, you do the FBM, and you keep all like the storage and everything. But you're also more profitable on the back end. So that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below, and subscribe to my channel for more.